Father and stepmother of 10-year-old Sara Sharif have been sentenced to life in prison for her murder. Urfan Sharif must spend a minimum of 40 years in jail, while Sara's stepmom Beinash Batool must serve a minimum term of 33 years. Well, let's return live to the Old Bailey and our Home Affairs correspondent Daniel Sanford. Daniel, the judge took more than an hour to deliver those sentencing remarks. What stood out to you?
Yeah, they were very, very powerful sentencing remarks. He said that he was going to go out of his way not only to detail the horrendous treatment that Sara Sharif had suffered at the hands of her father and stepmother, but also to talk about Sara Sharif's personality, because one of the things that's come through this trial has been this really sparky personality of the girl at the heart of the trial, who loved to smile and to dance. But the judge summed up the treatment that had been given to her as years of neglect, frequent assaults, and what can only be described as the torture of this small child. And he said that judges need to be careful about using the word torture, but it's no exaggeration to describe the campaign of abuse against Sara as torture. The other thing that the judge went out of his way to stress were his concerns about homeschooling, because the trial has heard that when Sara's school noticed bruising on her face and they notified the council and Children's Services got involved and the council asked the school to monitor Sara, that what Sara's parents did was to take her out of school, saying they were going to homeschool her. Now, judges don't normally comment on matters of public policy, but this is what Mr. Justice Kavanagh had to say today about homeschooling of vulnerable children.
This case brings into sharp relief the dangers of unsupervised homeschooling of vulnerable children. When they felt they needed to, you, Urfan Sharif and Beinash Batool, were able to hide the abuse that Sara was suffering by the simple expedient of announcing that she was to be homeschooled. Of course, there are many cases in which parents take their children out of school for periods of homeschooling for good reasons and with the best of intentions. But this case starkly illustrates the dangers.
Now, Sara Sharif's mother, Olga, has not been present at the trial. She has started a new life in Poland, but we did hear today for the first time from her in a statement which was read to the judge ahead of his sentencing. And in that, Olga Domin said, Sara's not far from home. She was referring to the fact that she's now buried in Poland, and she's visited every day. I always light candles for her, and there are flowers with her. And then she went on to talk about the people who are being sentenced today, and she said, I can't understand what's wrong with these people, how they're allowed it. You are sadists, she said. Although even this word is not enough for you, I would say you are executioners.